All right, in this video, we are going to use the project curve method instead of the 3D sketch method to draw this center portion of the hood. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch on the top plane. So see, here's the top plane, we'll sketch it here, and then we'll create a sketch on the front plane, and then we'll use the curves, project curve, for those two sketches, and it will bring the sketch to the right place that we'll need. So we'll again start on a sketch on the top plane. Control 8 to bring it normal. I'm going to do this hood, this portion of the hood, and just use mirror. Okay, so I'm going to start in the center here and just drawing a line there, and then I'll use a spline. Remember, when we use splines, we want to use as little inflection points as possible and just use these controls to control the spline. All right. Oop. Awesome. And then I'm going to exit sketch and create a sketch on the front plane. New sketch. Control 8 to bring to normal. And you can see here is my previous sketch down here. When I draw this new sketch, I want to make sure that the start and end points of this new sketch are the same as the start and end points of the sketch we just drew. So I'm going to use a line again, hover over the origin, drag this up. All right. And then draw a line there. Then I'm going to use a spline to, let's see here, go to this point here. I don't want it to be horizontal. Okay, great. Oh, I forgot to make this endpoint. It needs to be the same length as that one. So I'll do it right there. All right, so now these points line up. All right, so now I'm going to exit sketch. And what I want to do is I want to bring this sketch up to this sketch here. So I'm going to hold shift and select both of these sketches and go to, you can go to the features tab or surfaces, go to curves, project curve. And you can see there's going to be the curve and click check mark. And what it does is it brings this curve from this top plane up here where it is on the front plane. So if I go back, I'm going to hit the top plane, Control 8 to see there, and there is our curve right there. So I'm going to do that exact same process right here. I'll start a new sketch on the top plane. Okay, I'm going to draw a spline from the center here over about right here. Okay, I'll bring this down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use, remember, as little inflection points as possible. Right. That's good for now. Then I'll exit sketch and create a new sketch on the front plane just like before. Hit Control 8 to bring to normal. There's the sketch we just created on the top plane. And now I'll use a spline. I want to draw from here to, let's see here. You want to make sure those are lined up. Escape. And then use your spline tool. All right, that's good for now. Then exit sketch. I'm going to hold shift and select both of these sketches. Go to curves, project curve. Check, and there is our curve. It went from the top plane up to there. All right, so now I have these two curves, and if I go to Lofted Surface, I'm going to select these two curves here. I'm going to do Control or isometric view, Control 7. I'm going to move this green point over so that they're aligned. You can see here is where my curve would be. If I hit Control 1, it's not following this curve right here. So I want to add a guide curve. You don't need to add a guide curve for this if it works for you, but I would like to add a guide curve. So I'm going to hit X. And what I'm going to do is, hold on, I'm going to go to my top view. I'm going to use the same method, but I'm going to use the top view and the right view to project my curve. So I'm going to create a new sketch on the top plane. I'll add a spline here. All right, and then I want it to be coincident with both of those ends there. And then I'll use my spline tool. All right, I use the diamond shape controls the most, and then I'll use the arrows as well. All right, and then I'm going to exit sketch. Then I'll create a new sketch on the right plane and do Control 8 to bring to normal. Here's the sketch we just drew, and we want to project it up here in the correct shape right there, okay? So I'm going to use a spline and have it coincident with that one and coincident with this curve, escape. And then I'm going to use these controls here. Okay, I want to bring that down a little. All right, where it's below this one. All right, and I think I want that. All right, that looks good to me. So I'm going to exit sketch. And so now I have these two sketches. So I have the first one I drew is on the top plane down here. The other one I drew is on the right plane right here. But the right plane, this is going to be in the center. So that one's in, if I hit Control 1, you can see that this sketch is in the center. Or this sketch is in the center, that's drawing on the right plane. So I want these two to meet each other. I'm going to select both of those sketches and click Project Curve. Check mark. All right, so now we have that. Now we are going to create our surface. So if your shape is more intricate, you can use a boundary surface. I'm going to use a lofted surface because this one is pretty simple. For the profiles, I'll click both of these. And again, I'm going to move the green dot so they're aligned. And for a guide curve, I'm going to select this curve right there. Make sure it's curve 6. All right, awesome. And so now if I go to the top view, you can see that it matches that curve. I still have this empty area here that I'm going to have to fix, and I will do that next. So I'm going to click check. All right, so I have that. Let's see here, Control 5. So overall, you want to try to do, half the car, and then you can mirror it to the other half so that both sides are identical. So I would recommend doing that towards the end. However, I'm going to show you how to do that. What you can do is if you have your edges on, it's going to have this line here, but I'm going to turn the edges off so I can't see that line. So I'm going to go to Features tab, and I'm going to use a mirror. My plane is going to be the right plane, this plane right here, because I want to mirror it about that plane. And the bodies to mirror, I'm going to click this arrow down here for bodies to mirror and select this one. All right, and then I am going to hit, if I merge, oops, I don't think it's going to let me, yes, it won't let me knit the surfaces yet. So I'm going to just hit check now. All right, and so say that you do have an empty space like this. What you can do is go to surfaces and use your filled surfaces. And I want to patch the boundary between those two. All right, and I want to merge the result and click check mark, and now you have this right here. Now, say that I still have more of the hood to complete, but say that I complete all of this hood and I want to have some organization in here. So I'm just going to select all of these, hold shift and select all of these features, right click and go to add to folder, and then I could type in hood. And so then when I add the next sketch here. So I'm just going to do a random sketch so you can see top plane, new sketch. Say that I want to start modeling this part right here. I could see here. Okay, exit sketch, and you can see it's not within the hood folder. This just helps with organization.